Hey, here I am again. I'm on a roll today and getting into my function. So The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, what that really did for me was it lifted me completely up and out of the state of victim mentality that I believed that I was in. Because I had a belief that there was a victim and a victimizer, and that the world was doing unto me. Because what really the Course talks about in cause and effect is that God is the cause and I am his effect, being his son. But then the ego comes along, creates this world, and says that he didn't create it and the world is being done to him, and so I was really in a state of victim mentality for decades and decades, and so that book just did its job and lifted me right out of this victim state that I had been in, because of course the Course teaches we can only do unto this ourselves, and it's only our thoughts that can hurt us, it's so yeah, that's what happened there. Lifted me completely out of that state of the victim. So people assume, or people have assumed, that oh, you think you're healed because you met Jesus. I never said that, not once, and I never thought that either, because I knew that Jesus coming was he was coming to show me the choice. He was coming to show me that there was another way. He was coming to show me the choices and to offer me another way, and to offer me the chance to follow him. I was the one that was going to make the decision, because there are only ever two decisions that we can ever make in this life, and it's we can decide for God or can decide against God, and whichever one we choose dictates our experience. And so he was coming to show me that there was another way, and that I had been mistaken. I often thought that, if this happens to other people, and I know that it has and continues to, would they be in the same position as me now? But not everybody who's given the choice accepts the choice. And I know, because my earthly biological brother, about some 20 years before I had my experience, he had the same experience when he was in prison, and at the time he was top dog in prison, and he had the experience, but he didn't choose to follow because he was in prison at the time and he was top dog, and what that would have done to his credibility was nobody's business, and so he decided not to follow. And when I look at him now, it's just been a sad descent into hell. I mean, if he thought he was in hell 20 years ago, it's nothing compared to that place that he seems to be in now. So it was always about a choice to follow. Jesus was he was very good at, I don't know, I became clairvoyant, and it's almost like this big plasma screen would drop down before my face, and whatever he wanted to show me would play out as if it was on a movie or in a movie, and I'd just be the observer of it. And he quickly showed me this pathway. It was a very narrow path. was very long and very winding, and seemed to be lots of potholes in the road. It was in complete darkness and surrounded by wilderness. There was a storm breaking out above, thunder and lightning, and there seemed to be demons lurking in the bushes, and it seemed like a very, very scary option to go down, a road to go down. It seemed to be very dark. Yet he talked of this this other road, where the path was very broad, and it looked very light and very tropical, and it looked like there was lots of partying and lots of treasures and trinkets to draw you in, and that's the path that the majority took, because it seemed like the easy path, and they were buying into the trickery. But once you get into that path, you can only, the gifts and the gems that sort of lured you in, they fall away quite quickly, and then you become onto a path of pain and destruction and death and misery, and that's all it can ever be on that path. So he showed me that, but there he was standing at the foot of this road, the one where it was very narrow and windy and very, very scary, and he was inviting me to follow him through the darkness, and then it was almost a sense of like fear, and he started to play this song, and it absolutely brought me to tears, and I was just sobbing. It was as if there was this healing going on, and I'm going to see if I can play the song for you guys. This is the song that he was playing to me as he stood at the foot of the road in this dark, dark storm, and he was beckoning me to come and walk with him. So yeah, let's see if I can play.
Through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky, and the sweet silver sound of the lark. Walk on through the rain, walk on through the rain, for your dreams be tight and blow. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk
you can see why. I mean, at the time, I was in that place. It was just a confirmation that Jesus was here for me, and he was walking with me, and that I could never be alone. He was right with me every step of the way, and it's a complete confirmation when he started to play that song, and you can see the tears were just flowing down my face, and I said yes, and took his hand and walked off down this road. And you see, when the song says lift up your head and hold your head up high, means what he asked me to do. And as I lifted my head, I could see ahead, miles and miles and miles down this winding road, but I could see a point of light in the distance, and I knew that was my destination, was the light, and that the only way that I could possibly reach the light is through the darkness. And of course, it's all symbolic of the darkness in my mind. I have to come within and traverse the layers of darkness and divine mind, healing it all as I go, until I reach that point of light. And I said yes, and walked with him. And currently, the Course in Miracles says that the ego is suspicious at best and vicious at worst. Well, I'm so deep down into those dark layers at the moment. I'm experiencing the vicious, and it's showing up in all sorts of ways. Evil images everywhere, nasty images, and people fighting everywhere, and seeing death and dismembered bodies, and it's not pleasant at all. Even like projection out onto my body, this illness, this intense illness, and you might have heard it in my throat. Yesterday I actually thought it felt like death. Felt like I had a brain tumour, and that was it. I don't know whether that's identifying with the death of the ego, but it just was expressing in its viciousness through me. So yeah, I said yes to walking with Jesus and taking this other road. And of course, again, the Course in Miracles says there's only ever two choices or two voices. We can decide for God, or we can decide against him. And that's free will, basically. That's it. And whatever you choose dictates your experience of life. I had a vision the other day. I had gone within, and I saw. I was there dressed as a ballerina, and I was all dressed in pink, and I was leaning on the bar. You know those bars that they have and they hold on to, the ballerinas. Well, but I was leaning over, and it looks as if I was resting, and I thought it was so beautiful because it's really symbolic of spirit, the ballerina, the dancing and the lightness and the freedom, and it was very symbolic of that. But I noticed that as I was leaning over this bar resting, that my right hand, it had a boxing glove on it, and I thought, oh. And then I thought, I've come a long way, because I'm not in a boxing ring with these boxing gear on and a mouth shield and two boxing gloves, and I'm fighting an opponent. So I've come a long way to just being me. But this, to me, this glove on this ballerina was symbolic that there's still a tiny part of myself that wants to fight myself, to beat myself up. Because if you don't recognize your identity, your true Christ identity, as the Holy